Hello everybody! Today I am sharing with you my unicorn dream inspired centerpiece tutorial. Everything you can get from your craft store or your thrift store, and probably a good portion of it, your local dollar store. Now to get started, you're going to need cylinder vases appropriate to the size and scale that you're looking for. Obviously I opted for those on pedestals, but whatever your tablescape dreams are, plan accordingly. I'm using 5, 3 larger ones, 2 shorter ones. I did the 2 shorter ones ahead of time just so you have a constant visual aid of what they look like. Now today, I'm going to be breezing through 3 variations just to show you the different things, different outcomes you could have. So you need some water, floating candles. These are called floral beads, water beads, gel beads. You can buy them hydrated, dehydrated, and then hydrate themselves. They're very easy to use. I would put money on it that if most of the floral arrangements that you've ever seen, there's a good chance that they're using these and you don't even realize it, but we'll get to that later. I also recommend using some sort of iridescent gift basket wrapping. That's what I'm using. It's kind of got that perfect rainbow dream look to it, which is why it's so perfect for the unicorn tablescape that I put together. Now, this first one that I'm putting together, take a note and look at how much of this wrapping I'm using. Quite a bit. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using different amounts from, this is probably, I would consider the most dense to the least dense as I go about. And all you see that I'm doing here is I'm just kind of compressing it a little bit in there and weighing it down with these clear water beads. What happens is when the water is added later on, it will cause the filler to float. So you can see the gel beads now, the water beads now, but don't worry, you will not see them when the water is added. That's part of the magical process of these that help keep plants and other things wet for longer periods of time because of the polymer that they're made out of. Now, as I'm adding the water very gently, as I'm adding it, you can see it's starting to float up. Now, that is very easily countered by just adding some more beads on top. As you hopefully can see by now, I'll show you a close up in a minute, the beads are helping weigh it down. So it completely fills out the cylinder. So as far as this goes, you're just finding a good balance to what you like, where you want your candle to sit. Don't forget about the displacement of the weight, but take a look at the whole cylinder here. I'll show you a close up here in a second when it's a little safer to pick up, but you don't see the clear beads anymore. They completely just turn invisible in the water. So all you see is this cool rainbow kind of just abstract look. Now for this second one, I'm using a little bit less of the iridescent filler, which is, I'm thinking, see, I bought it at the thrift store for about $1/4 for a partial roll. But with using less, I'm able to use more gel beads to help weigh it down. So take a look, I added a little bit more in, but it's not nearly as compressed as the first one that I did. So more beads could be helpful because it'll weigh it down, but also you can play with it and finesse it however you like. So you can kind of see the before and after a little bit with the other one sitting next to it. So this one, there's a lot more beads in there to help keep it a little bit more compressed and shaped than I think the first one had. And now the third one, I'm using significantly less because I want you to see that you don't have to have like a brand new full roll. I literally got this as a very small roll's worth at the thrift store for $1/4, but I know you can go to any craft store, and actually sometimes even the dollar store, and buy it. It's always in the gift wrapping section. So as you could see, this was a very like scrappy piece. This third one here, and it does take a little bit more time with the fewer pieces that you're using to finesse it and make it look like it's filling out. But once you do that and you get the water in and finesse a little bit more, you'll see that it has a different effect, but still a pretty effect. So obviously there's a lot more beads, I think, the less wrapping you use, just because you need it to, I'll say, stabilize the filler. But take a look as I'm filling it. See how it's rising up a little bit, but not as much as the first one did. And that's because there's a little bit more beads in there. But I like to add a few beads on top just to keep a little barrier between the candle and the rest of the filler in there. But that's just my preferences. It's up to you. So With that being said, let's watch the second one we did be filled. Now see how it's getting compressed? And then it's stretching back out again. So be mindful of how you pour your water in. Try to be gentle. Don't stick it under your kitchen faucet on full speed. I don't recommend that because it'll take more finessing later on. But it's a very, very simple process. It looks great during the daytime, but also at night. See, this is the one with the least in it, and it's actually just as pretty and maybe even prettier depending on what your preferences are than the other ones that are significantly more concentrated with the gift wrapping bits. At night, they look awesome, maybe even cooler than during the day, but also during the day when this is no lighting, this is just natural Florida sun coming through. I mean, look how great they look. I'm super impressed with how they turned out. Hopefully you'll try this look soon. Create something pretty for your unicorn inspired table, a rainbow table. If you're doing an art party, painting party, I really think this would be a nice, tasteful way to incorporate rainbows into any event. In the future though, I will be uploading another video on how I created these rainbow marble placemats. It's a very similar technique to one of my other videos that I recently uploaded on how to do marble placemats, just switching out the colors. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you are doing with unicorn trending anything right now. Are you rocking a unicorn onesie? Are you having a unicorn inspired wedding or summer party? I'd love to know in the comment sections down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe.